Hey y'all, I'm Mel. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel. I'm still getting used to saying YouTube channel, okay? But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm Mel, for those who don't know, and on this channel we talk about all things career, business, productivity, work-life balance. You may get a little faith stuff because that's just who I am. But yes, thank y'all so much for tuning in. So today we are going to talk about setting 2021 goals. I am all for simple productivity. I have been a part of that hustle culture where I work myself into the ground and it will have you cray, okay? So I am all about setting simple goals that you can actually achieve and leaving the rest up to God. I'll be honest, I used to do the whole vision board, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan. And honestly, I don't do that anymore. It's not that I don't have a vision for my life, but I've just found that when I did my vision boards, I would hold them as a measuring stick. So if I didn't achieve the certain things on that vision board, then I would think that it was something that I didn't do or achieve. But there are some things that are just not in God's timing, right? We can make plans, but what God wants to happen will happen. And so instead of holding myself to unrealistic expectations, I ask myself, how can I set tangible goals that I can actually do because I believe in hard work, but then also leave room and leave space for the outcome and leave it for God to decide what he wants to do with what I've done, right? And so today I'm going to talk about kind of how I set simple goals, how I make habits out of those goals. And I'll be honest, this is my second time recording this video because I was setting goals, thinking about dreams, thinking about habits. And so listen, I'm getting into the video, so you may want to go ahead and get your paper and your pen because I go right in. But, I think sometimes we set goals and dreams, but we don't even think about the person that we have to become to obtain those goals and those dreams, right? So I had shot the video and I was doing my goals and my habits and things like that. And then I thought about it and I actually saw this Pinterest quote or picture, and it was like, who do I want to become? And some of those things were welcoming, forgiving, gracious, patient. And I was watching a YouTube video where a pastor was talking about a lot of times we want to do things, but what we do is just a byproduct of who we already are, of who we are being, right? So if you want to be a business owner, you must first be brave. You must first be resilient. And so I encourage us, even before we get into our goal planning, and I'm actually writing mine out as we speak too. But even before I get into these goals, I want us to take a moment to think about who do we want to be, right? So yes, you may want to start your business, but who is that going to require? What is that going to require from you? Maybe it's consistency. So maybe you need to become consistent. Maybe you need to become a learner or a reader so that you can, know the latest trends in your industry. Maybe if you are trying to transition your career, then you need to become consistent in your job, or maybe you need to become, more outgoing so that you can network with other people so that you can achieve the job that you want, right? And so my first question for y'all is going to be, who do you need to become in 2021? Not what you want to achieve, not your dream bae, right? But who do you want to become? Who do you need to become based off of what you want to see in 2021? And then I think what we'll find is as we start becoming the person that's required for the calling that we feel like we have on our lives in every aspect of our life, then we'll be able to do it because, again, it'll just be a byproduct of who we already are. So who do you want to become? Okay. So for me, I think I want to become patient. I want to become resilient. I just recently launched not my first business, but relaunched a business that I had launched before. And then I kind of made it a part of my personal brand. And now I'm at the point where I have to expand it into its own company because there are other things that I want to do with my personal brand. But anyone that starts a business knows that it's going to take time to grow your audience and to nurture your audience and to get your ideal client. And when I first launched my first business 2 years ago, I quit very soon after because I wasn't getting the engagement that I wanted. But now I've learned how to be resilient. I have a podcast. I've been, handling my clients for about a year or two now consistently. And so now, I'm ready to expand, but I know that it's going to take time, and it's going to be on God's timing when He wants to grow and expand it, right? And so for me, I need to become more resilient. For me, I need to become more of a planner, right? So I work a 9-to-5. Shout out to all of my 9-to-5preneurs out there. But I work a 9-to-5. And so I can't be creating content on the fly. I can't be, doing things last minute because I have to plan ahead because I have a lot of responsibilities, And so one thing I need to become is a more of a planner and more proactive versus reactive in all of parts of my life, honestly. So being patient, being resilient, becoming more of a planner, those are some of my things. I have others that I'm probably not going to share on here, but what are some of the things that you need to become? Let me know in the comments below, okay? So that's the first question. The second question, then we can get into the goals and the dreams. So I'm going to show y'all. Now listen, I know y'all probably got your fancy goal planner. Listen, I use this big idea book that I got from Target. If I can find the link, I'll link it below so that you can get one too. But it literally has like blank pages that I just kind of scribble on, and I try to keep it real simple. I'm all for doing the simple thing, whatever is going to require you to be, whatever is going to help you be consistent. And sometimes more is not better. So I've learned to keep my life and my business consistent, okay, and simple. So, I have my 2021, some of my 2021 dreams here. Again, I'm not finished yet, but I have that there. And then I have my goals here, but then my dreams and gifts here. And you may say, well, Mel, what's the difference between a goal and a dream? And I'm so glad you asked. And this goes back to what I was talking about before about why I don't do vision boards anymore, because again, there are goals that we can set that are tangible. And then there are dreams that we have that are left up to God. And so I want to talk about the difference between a goal and a dream. So let's take one of my personal examples. So one of my goals, or one thing that I want to see in 2021, is I want to be able to buy my first home, right? So a goal of mine is when I want to set a goal, I ask myself, what can I do in my strength, right? So I know my income, I know my savings, I know my credit, right? And I know that with all of those three things, I can tangibly, let's just throw out a number here. Let's say that I can tangibly purchase, maybe a $250,000 home. And that's what I can afford with my income, with my credit, with my savings. Again, hypothetical. But that's a goal, right? Because that's something that I can do and work towards. But let's say that maybe my dream home costs $450,000, right? Let's say I want a $500,000 townhome, right? So that may be a dream that I have, but I can't tangibly do that in my own strength, right? So that would be considered a dream. And so with everything that you want to see in 2021, I want you to separate out a goal that you can tangibly achieve and a dream that has to be left up to God. Because again, if I just put it on myself to have a $450,000 home and I may not be able to afford that today, then if I don't achieve that, I wouldn't even be able to appreciate the home that God does give me, right? If it's not that same price. And again, it puts a lot of pressure on me. It makes me feel like I failed and that I didn't do enough or achieve enough. But again, when I can set a goal and say, okay, I know I can do this, and so I'll set that goal and make sure that I'm still saving and make sure that I'm not overspending and making sure that I'm paying off stuff so that I can do this. But God, this is what I really want to see. So I'm going to leave that up to you, because you're going to have to increase my income and create opportunities and things like that. And I hope that makes sense. Another example that I've used is with my so let's say with my personal brand, right? So let's say with my personal brand, I create content, I write, and maybe one of my goals is to grow my following, or to nurture my following, and let's say that maybe I want to be able to expand that more in 2021. Well, I can commit to, as a goal, being consistent on social media, being consistent on YouTube, being consistent on the podcast. And so I will set tangible goals that will be able to help me to be consistent, whether that's posting 3 times a week, whether that's being consistent and, again, planning ahead, for the YouTube, or for the podcast, or for the blog, whatever it is. So I set goals based off of what I can do in my timing, right? But I can post every single day and still not get 100,000 followers in a year, right? My expansion, my growth, my reach is really based on God. I can be consistent in what I can do, but I can't control the outcome, right? And so I really want us to start setting goals that we can actually control and leave the outcome up to God, right? So when it comes to setting your 2021 goals, again, think about what is a goal versus a dream, right? So take that idea that you have and say, okay, what can I tangibly do as a goal? And what can I leave up to God as an outcome? Okay, I hope that makes sense. So again, to do a quick recap, we talked about who do you need to become to see what you want to see in 2021, and 2, how can you separate goals versus dreams? How can you separate what you can tangibly commit to, and why, and how you need to leave an outcome up to God, even with your husband. Okay, maybe you trying to find your Boaz or your Ruth or whatever y'all call them nowadays. Okay, so let's say that maybe you're trying to find your husband in 2021. You can't control that. You can go out, you can online date, you can meet whomever you think you want to meet, and you could still not get married, right? That's an outcome that you can't control. But a goal that you could set maybe could be, well, I want to get out and meet new people. So that's a goal that you can tangibly do. Maybe maybe your thing is online dating, and so that's something that you can tangibly do, and so again, we can't control the outcome, but there are some things that we can do. And honestly, if you can commit to the stuff that you can do in your control, you won't have time to worry about the outcome. If I can do all of these 2021 goals and habits and things like that, I won't have time to be worried about the outcome because I'll be busy doing that, right? So again, goals versus outcomes, right? So then when it comes to your goals, so we've said who we need to become. We talked about our goals versus our dreams. So now, highlighting those goals, I want you to then break down those goals into habits, right? So some of these are going to be daily habits. Some of these are going to be weekly habits. Some of these are going to be monthly habits, okay? So let's say that maybe you have a goal of losing weight, right? So the goal there would be, okay, I can probably lose, so the goal there would be, I can probably lose about 10 pounds, right? Again, you can argue whether or not that's a goal or an outcome, but let's just say you want to lose weight. So the goal there is, okay, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to make a goal of working out, and then I'm going to leave the outcome about the number of pounds that I lose up to God. Let's use that example. Then let's say if you have a goal of working out, then what is the habit that you're going to do in order to meet that goal of working out? Your habit may be, okay, well, I'll commit to working out 20 minutes a day for 5 times a week, right? So I want you to break down every goal into small habits that you can do. And I want you to take into consideration the time that you have today. Because what I don't want you to do is say, okay, I'm going to drink a gallon of water every day. I'm going to work out for an hour and a half every day. And you don't do that now. You don't have time to do that now, right? So again, have an honest evaluation of your time, and then looking at those goals that you can control, I want you to break those down into smaller habits. So if one of my goals is to be more consistent with my personal brand and with creating content, then a habit is, okay, every Sunday I'm going to create content, or every Monday I'm going to edit content, right? So I want you to break that down into habits that you can schedule into your everyday life. Again, For you, it may not be, okay, I'm going to post on social media every single day. For you, for me, it ain't, okay? For me, you know, if I can get 3 times a week posted on my feed, I'll be doing really good, you know? And so you have to be honest about your time and set habits, again, that you can get excited about because you're actually achieving them, right? And so that's kind of how I'm setting my goals for 2021. So again, quick recap. Who do you need to become to see what you want to see in 2021? Again, how can you separate goals versus dreams? How can you separate what you can tangibly do versus an outcome that's left up to God? And then 3, for those goals that you can tangibly control, how can you break those down into daily, weekly, or monthly habits? And I think what you're going to find is, and you may say, well, Mel, that ain't simple, but it is simple because what you do every day matters, right? So what you can do consistently on a daily, weekly basis, it doesn't matter the frequency. It just matters the quality and the consistency at which you can do those habits. And so for me, I may just think, okay, well, I'm just, creating content on Sundays, but now I'm able to build a bank of content. Now I'm able to grow, because I have consistent quality content because I'm dedicating my Sundays to doing that, right? You may think, well, just working out 20 minutes a day is not enough. But again, you're building the lifestyle. You're becoming the person, right? And the weight loss is just a byproduct of who you are becoming through your daily habits. And so I know you want to make, 7 figures, in a year. I know you want your dream home and your dream husband, right? But again, we can leave that outcome up to God. What can we do? Right? What can we do that's simple, that fits into the schedule that we already have? And I promise you, if you can become consistent with the small things, then you will be able to see the byproduct of those big things. So I hope that helps you. Let me know in the comments below some of your habits, who you need to become, some of your goals, some of your dreams that you're leaving up to God. I hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe. If you want to get more videos like this, we talk all about career, business, productivity. We keep it simple and straight to the point. So stay tuned for more. Love y'all.